birthday boy.
Hello.
Sitting by a canal, just having a nice Heineken. On your what?
My
Birthday. Cheers.
Cheers.
Heineken, product placement. They're not paying us. That's my wine. Looking at the boats going by. With the kids. Look at this long line. We're about to do a boat cruise ourselves, hopefully. It is a little chilly in the wind, in the shade. But we're living. Just a little view of me because I don't want to deprive the world of Noel Perez. Thank you very much. Stout. Perez short. We had a wonderful night last night. Not that you're not tired of listening to this, but Badow. We got engaged. Yay! And we have a dancing table. So we're gonna enjoy our food. It's supposed to be breakfast, but it's 3:39, and I guess that's pretty much it. I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Say bye, Stout.
Bye.
Short,
Stout.
and we're on a boat. Ready? We're tethered. We're ready to leave on a little 1-hour cruise.
Gilligan's Island.
Give you a little view of the people. We're waiting for our drink, and we'll get going for our birthday cruise.
Yes.
His birthday. We'll give you some of the sights in a few minutes. In a few seconds, actually. That's much better.
Simon. Then let me introduce you to the lovely lady over here in the middle of the boat. Her name is Micah. So Micah, she'll be looking after all of you on board. So if you need any photographs, any drinks or anything, please give her a shout and she'll gladly come and help you with that. And my name is Simon. I'll be your skipper for the next hour. And just a few safety things. We are going to be going through some very low and very tight bridges along the way. So if all of you could please keep your hands inside the boat at all times. And if you do need to stand up for any reason, please make sure that you have a look ahead of you first. I don't want you to bump your head on one of the many low bridges. And now we are going to tell you a little about the city and some of the sights around. And if you do see something along the way that you'd like to know about, please ask us questions. We like to think that we know everything about Amsterdam. And if we don't know the answer to your question, we're just going to make up a story and you're never going to know the difference anyway. Woo. Apart from that, sit back, relax, and enjoy the next hour in the sun. Table's going to be at 10 past 6, right?
Let's go.
Building of, and it's not very good at giving things names, so because it's old, because it's a church, it's called the Old Church, or the Oude Kerk. They built a new church which they call the New Church. There's a church in the south called the Southern Church, so you can understand they're not very good at giving things names. And this was actually the oldest standing building of Amsterdam. And they began construction on this church in around 1302, and the construction lasted for around 300 years. And the oldest building is also happened to be standing on the oldest canal of Amsterdam. This canal they began digging in around 1342. And Amsterdam, as you've noticed, is probably a bit of a strange place, kind of all sorts of things going on. And the little square where the church sits is no exception. If you ever look straight up to the church, you'll find some of the ladies in the windows that really like this church. And your second building down, that is a coffee shop. And then your third building down with the green stripes in the windows, that is actually a children's kindergarten or a children's daycare called a Small World. So quite a nice little mix of businesses going on in the square. And we like to make a little joke here for the square, especially for the fathers. So if you've got your kids today and you want to have some fun, you can go drop your kids over to the kindergarten in the morning. You can have a step next door and have a joint in the coffee shop. Then one more step and you can have some window shopping with the ladies. And then when you're done, you can go straight across to church. You can confess all your sins, pick the kids up with a nice clean mind, and you can say you had a great day out in one little square of Amsterdam. All of this was originally the open sea, And this lock is what used to protect Amsterdam. And all of the locks that we have got in Amsterdam today, these still actually do work and they still do function. So if we ever had a problem with flooding or rising water, you can still close all these locks to protect Amsterdam, just as it was done in the past. And one of the reasons why in the Netherlands we've got so many big dams and dikes, and that's because around 60% of the country is below sea level. And Amsterdam on average is around 1.5 to 2 meters below the sea level. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of you will have arrived at Schiphol Airport. And this airport actually sits roughly 8.5 meters below the actual sea level.
Okay guys, so some people like to get drunk on our boats and some people like to not drink at all. And both are perfectly fine by me, okay? If you guys have not heard it already, I'm from North America, so I also have a very different service culture than most countries of Europe. And I don't want to harass anybody. So guys, I will not ask you again if you want anything to drink. It is not that I'm neglecting you in any way, okay? I'm more than happy to serve you. But please just let me know if you're thirsty. Same thing, English is not your native tongue and I'm speaking too fast. Please let me know and I'll try to slow down, okay? I tend to blab a little bit.
No, you're fine.
Okay, thank you. Guys, my name is Micah. At any moment you could yell out Micah. If you can't remember Micah, just dance around and I'll come straight to you, okay? I'll come straight to you in 1 minute.
Chocolate.
Guys, if any of you want to go for a really...
Hello. We have our Damrak gin and tonic infused with orange from Holland. It's actually really yummy. Something different on our little boat as we travel down the canal, which we just found out that it's super expensive to live in a houseboat, like Fifth Avenue status. What? Yes. So, how do you feel, Stout, on your birthday?
Good.
You enjoying yourself?
Yeah, I want a relaxing birthday.
Relaxing birthday with cocktails and a cruise around the canal. My kind of life.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Can I switch you? Or you
living on the outside of the wall, so it didn't really make sense. 3 of these towers, they still do remain around in the city today, and they've all been repurposed or reused. And as you can tell from this one, it was turned into a lovely clock tower. And being a clock tower back then, you had to have a clock keeper in here who used to ring the bells every hour. And the guy they put here to do the job, his name was Jack. And after a couple of years of ringing the bells, Jack went a little bit mental, and he just started ringing the bells whenever he felt like ringing the bells. So sometimes he'll ring 20 times an hour, and then for the next week he did not ring the bell once. So you can imagine you never knew what the time was. And the people living around, they got very upset and very frustrated with him. So they gave him the nickname Crazy Jack. And nowadays, 400 years later, most people in Amsterdam do not know the tower's real name, but they only know it by its nickname, the Crazy Jack Tower, or the Mollejaan.
Hey, Crazy Jack.
So guys, I always like to go around the boat and see if we can gather as many continents as possible. So I'm going to start with you guys. Where are you guys from? Portugal, nice. Where are you guys from? Netherlands, nice. All right. Where are you guys? You're all together? 4 of you? 5 of you? 6 of you? You're from France? All right. Germany? 6 of you? All right. Where are you ladies from? England? And it's the 6 of you? 7 of you? Okay.
She's from Tavern.
From where?
Tavern.
Okay.
Norwich.
I don't know where that is. But
Is she? Norwich.
oh, okay. Where are you guys from?
Oh, my love.
Sorry, guys, where are you from? Sweden?
Iceland.
You guys?
Florida, New York, and Dominican Republic, New York.
Oh, nice. All right. Where are you guys from? Italy. Nice. You guys? Amsterdam. Nice, perfect. And that's pretty much it. So guys, I am from Canada myself, and Simon is from South Africa. So I think we have, well, we're in Australia. So we have a few continents. For the Dutchies on board, if it can make you feel better, my last name is Janssen. Yeah. So guys, et pour tous les francophones, si jamais vous voulez que je traduise quoi que ce soit, il faut juste me le demander, d'accord? C'est ma langue maternelle, ça me fait plaisir. Everybody else, I'm very sorry, that's the only other language I speak. Yeah, I can speak Spanish to you guys, but it won't help. So. Okay, perfect.
So guys, maybe you noticed in Amsterdam the buildings kind of look like they're leaning over, falling over a bit to the left, falling over to the right. And if you have a look ahead, there's a lovely example, the little lone standing black house. You can see how this is leaning all the way over to the left. So why the building's actually beautiful in Amsterdam is because the ground, it's very soft, it's like a swamp. And the foundations, they used to be made from these wooden poles that went through that soft ground and into the hard ground below. And of course, over time, wood, it does rot, it does break, and that would cause a corner of your house to sink into the ground. And you can never right the houses again. What they used to do then, they put new foundations down, and then they generally used to level out the floors inside the house. So you still have a nice level living space. This little building over here, though, for some reason they did not level the floor inside, and it has now been converted into a lovely local bar. And we like to say that this is the cheapest bar now in Amsterdam, because you can walk in here without having anything to drink, and at the moment you step inside you immediately feel drunk, because everything's leaving to the left, including yourself. And the owners, they know that, so they made a little sign that makes any sense.
The leaning bar. There it is.
But this bridge is more suited for a Tinder date or a weekend romance, because every 7 days the government comes and cuts all the locks off the chains. One man knows quite happy with this, and he's the guy who owns a little shop here, because he also happens to sell these locks for anywhere between 5 and 10 euros.
Yay! The Tinderlock Bridge. Devin, you passed the Tinderlock Bridge.
We made it.
We made it.
In Amsterdam. So everything else is all man-made canals, and they all got the water from this very river. And this is also where Amsterdam actually got its name from. So Amsterdam was established in the 12th century as a little fishing village, and it was around 1275 when the fishermen decided to build a dam on the river. And going back to the nice original names they gave, Amsterdam was called Amstel River Dam, and it was later shortened to Amstel River Dam, which is Old Country River, and it was again later shortened to Amsterdam as we know today. And guys, I've just got a quick question for you. Would any of you consider going for a swim here in the river or the canals?
Yeah.
You wouldn't? Why wouldn't you go?
When you see the cutoff.
Okay guys, I'm going to show you quickly here what the water really looks like. So guys, here you go, that's a glass of water straight out of the river. So it is a lot cleaner than it looks. Yeah, and any of you are drinking Chardonnay, this is what you're getting. But it is very clean. We've got a very good water management system here in Amsterdam. Every year we have a big fundraiser for the muscle disease ALS. It's a big city swim, and each year there's around 7,000 people swim this event. And the Queen of the Netherlands, she really partakes in this event. And the water is actually so clean that you can drink it. So would any of you like a free drink?
No, thank you.
Only one you're going to get today? No? Cheers, guys. Guys, don't actually drink the water. It doesn't taste very good. Been a bit immune to it. Been drinking it a little bit every day for the last year. Haven't got any third arms and things yet. But yeah, rather stick to bottled water. So back in the early days, you had to pay tax on the width of your building on the street. So it didn't matter how deep it was, it didn't matter how tall, but the width you paid a tax on. And the second thing you had to pay tax on was the number of stairs leading up to your front door. And a double staircase was a double tax. And then you also had to pay tax on windows. But if you had small little windows inside your big window frame, you paid tax on every single one of the small little windows. And the buildings today, they're very expensive. They're mostly owned by big companies. Example, ING Bank, bookings.com. And just to give you an idea on the price, on the left-hand side of the brown building, number 574, this was sold the end of last year for 9.7 million euros. And it still needs a full, complete restoration of the interior.
Oh, gay flag. Hey, gay flag.
Sorry, of Amsterdam. We've got one of the most expensive and the most prestigious hotels in the country. And that's on the left-hand side. This is the World of Astoria Hotel. And this hotel actually runs from the second building at this end of the street and the 6 houses going across. So it took them around 30 years and around 18 million euros to complete this hotel. Because over time they had to buy the houses individually and then convert that into the hotel. And the one man that actually was quite clever, he was the guy who owned the center house. And he refused to sell his house for a number of years because he knew what their plan was. At the end of the day though, he did sell his house. He got 3 times the market value for his house. And if you want to maybe stay in this hotel nowadays, prices can range anywhere from around 500 euros per person per night for a basic room, all the way up to the main suite in the hotel, which is roughly 22,000 euros a night.
22,000 euros a night. You want me to buy your house at that place, Stout?
Sure.
22,000 a night. You got that kind of money? Living the life, honey. Living the life.
Can anybody give me the name?
7 bridges in a row.
7 bridges in a row, exactly. So guys, if you want to practice your Dutch, in Dutch is de Regulierstraat. And it took me months to be able to even closely say that word.
Brussel, de Prido wil zo graag voor het Waldorf even draaien. Mijn info zit aan het stuurboord.
Ah, dat is goed. Ga je gaan. Ik wacht even.
Hij moet toch wel. Ik mag even gebruik van de gelegenheid.
There's a little boat here.
I'm so hungry. Just hit me.
We are taking a sharp left. We can see the 7 bridges in a row.
I managed to refill half of the things for later. Is this the water from the canal? I've had enough for today.
Guys, we showed you the bigger wide buildings a moment ago on the Lord's Canal. And I've got some nice examples of some narrow houses. We look to the right inside house number 22 with the white door frame. Here's an example of a very narrow house. Just a single door and a single window with wide. And then number 28 is also a good example of how the building's foundations used to break and they used to cause the buildings to sink into the ground. De whole reguliers Kaisers are in Amsterdam. So this is the second of the main canals in Amsterdam. And maybe a little bit hard to imagine now, but about 7 weeks ago, the locals were actually ice skating along this canal. It did get cold enough for that to freeze over. It doesn't happen very often. The last time that did happen was around 6 years earlier. And yeah, I think they got around 3 days of ice skating on the canals before it actually was too thin and not safe to skate anymore. So guys, I'm going to have to ask you guys to do something for me because we cannot go down the Prinsengracht because of the content that are going on. This bridge ahead is very, very low. The only way we're going to get underneath this bridge is that if you in the back can move towards the front of the boat because we need to drop the front of the boat down, otherwise we will not fit underneath the bridge.
Careful your heads!
Okay. Surprise.
That's it.
Yay!
That was the first came after.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys.
back to our seats because we had to get through that little ass bridge over there. We had to crouch all the way at the front. I had to work for this ride. I already got on my knees yesterday. They have recovered. Craziness.
Learners will probably know a little bit how it goes. It's long so sleeper, long so sleeper, long so sleeper in the Horia, in the Horia, in the Horia. Hey, baby!
Hey! Hey!
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
So guys, if any of you are into art and museums, we've got the lovely Hermitage Museum here on the right hand side.
You're getting
So this is actually Swiss green grass court, big green grass courtyard.
Opera ballet.
I'm so happy I'm not doing an evening shift. Evening shift? It's gonna be horrible at like 7 days, you know?
Queers
I'm
Cafe.
going to tell you about along the way. And if you have had a good time, you maybe come across Facebook or TripAdvisor and maybe you could even a little comment or a review for us, we greatly appreciate it. Because you are still very young boat company here in Amsterdam. And of course, any feedback can help us grow and improve along the way. And the lovely Micah is slowly going to come around the boat now to each of you to start with the payments. So those are done by the time we do get back to the dock, and you can all jump straight off and enjoy the rest of the evening. And of course, if you have enjoyed our company, our hospitality, and you do feel like personally rewarding us, you are more than welcome to leave something with Micah on our little orange wooden shoe, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to be used on a nice cold beer later. Thank you very much.